الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر بسم الرحمن الرحيم إن كينك هوسا فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to the 16th night of Ramadan and the 15th Al-Zahra Islamic Center Ramadan program. Thank you so much, Muhaddasa, for the beautiful recitation. We actually have a couple of announcements today. So inshallah, we'll be closing on the AZIC building next week, and we're going to get a video of the insides. We'll talk about line items for renovation and the kind of money we'll need to raise, inshallah, to get prepared for the Eid celebration, which will be at least on the outside on the property, inshallah. If not, depending on how things go on the inside. We do need volunteers for the Eid celebration. So if you go to alzahraislamiccenter.com, you'll see a button to volunteer for Eid. It's a short, simple form. Looks like this, just email address, name, phone number, and how many hours are you willing to volunteer. We don't want you, if you're willing to do all day, that's great. But if you want to enjoy, this is going to be for the Saturday, not Eid will be like on a Wednesday morning. That'll be a pretty subdued, simple program. This is for the Saturday, like Eid fest picnic celebration. So please volunteer. We need about 20, inshallah, so that everyone can, work a little bit and enjoy their day as well. So it doesn't fall on the shoulders of just a few. So inshallah, let's all sign up for that to volunteer for Eid and volunteer as many hours as you're comfortable doing so. And then for membership forms, membership for AZIC is going to be $80 per family per year. You'll want to contact Shabir for that, 518-894-3020. I also put the PDF here under membership applications, so you can take a look at that. Print it out, fill it out, and then call Shabir. The funeral fund is going to be $150 per family. That's an immediate family, mom, dad, kids per year. And if you're renewing from Al-Fatima, call Azim, 518-225-3326 to arrange for that. If it's a new plot or a new package, Shabir, 518-894-3020. Tonight we have Dua Iftitah by Abdulhai Qambar again. And then tonight we have Sheikh Azhar Nasser. And we have quite a lineup of sheikhs for the rest of the program, inshallah. We'll get a new flyer out soon. So tomorrow, Sheikh Nuru Mohammed. Friday, Sheikh Adam Awana. And then Saturday, which is the 19th, Sheikh Shabar Mehdi. Inshallah, we'll have a special program that night. More details to come soon. Enjoy the show.
الرحيم اللهم إني أفتتح الثناء بحمدك وأنت مسدد للصواب بمنك وأيقنت أنك أنت أرحم الراحمين في موضع العفو والرحمة وأشد المعاقبين في موضع النكال والنقمة وأعظم المتجبرين في موضع الكبرياء والعظمة اللهم أذنت لي في دعائك ومسألتك فاسمع يا سميع مدحتي وأجب يا رحيم دعوتي وأقل يا غفور عثرتي فكم يا إلهي من كربة قد فرجتها وهموم قد كشفتها وعثرة قد أقلتها، ورحمة قد نشرتها، وحلقة بلاء قد فككتها. الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا، ولم يكن له شريك في الملك، ولم يكن له ولي من الذل، وكبره تكبيرا. الحمد لله بجميع محامده كلها، على جميع نعمه كلها. الحمد لله الذي لا مضاد له في ملكه، ولا منازع له في أمره. الحمد لله الذي لا شريك له في خلقه، ولا شبيه له في عظمته. الحمد لله الفاشي في الخلق أمره وحمده، الظاهر بالكرم مجده، الباسط بالجود يده، الذي لا تنقص خزائنه، ولا تزيده كثرة العطاء إلا جودا وكرما. إنه هو العزيز الوهاب. اللهم إني أسألك قليلا من كثير، مع حاجة بي إليه عظيما، وغناك عنه قديم، وهو عندي كثير، وهو عليك سهل يسير. اللهم إن عفوك عن ذنبي، وتجاوزك عن خطيئتي، وصفحك عن ظلمي، وسترك على قبيح عملي، وحلمك عن كثير جرمي، عندما كان من خطئي وعمدي. أطمعني في أن أسألك ما لا أستوجبه منك، الذي رزقتني من رحمتك، وأريتني من قدرتك، وعرفتني من إجابتك، فصرت أدعوك آمنا، وأسألك مستأنسا، لا خائفا ولا وجلا، مدلا عليك فيما قصدت فيه إليك. فإن أبطأ عني عتبت بجهلي عليك، ولعل الذي أبطأ عني هو خير لي، لعلمك بعاقبة الأمور. فلم أر مولا كريما أصبر على عبد لئيم منك علي يا رب. إنك تدعوني فأولي عنك، وتتحبب إلي فأتبغض إليك، وتتودد إلي فلا أقبل منك، كأن لي التطول عليك، فلم يمنعك ذلك من الرحمة لي والإحسان إلي والتفضل علي بجودك وكرمك. فارحم عبدك الجاهل، وجد عليه بفضل إحسانك، إنك جواد كريم. الحمد لله مالك الملك، مجري الفلك، مسخر الرياح، فالق الإصباح، ديان الدين رب العالمين. الحمد لله على حلمه بعد علمه، والحمد لله على عفوه بعد قدرته، والحمد لله على طول أناته في غضبه، وهو قادر على ما يريد. الحمد لله خالق الخلق، باسط الرزق، فالق الإصباح، ذي الجلال والإكرام والفضل والإنعام، الذي بعد فلا يرى، وقرب فشهد النجوى، تبارك وتعالى. الحمد لله الذي ليس له منازع يعادله، ولا شبيه يشاكله، ولا ظهير يعاضده. قهر بعزته الأعزاء، وتواضع لعظمته العظماء، فبلغ بقدرته ما يشاء. الحمد لله الذي يجيبني حين أناديه، ويستر علي كل عورة وأنا أعصيه، ويعظم النعمة علي فلا أجازي. فكم من موهبة هنيئة قد أعطاني، وعظيمة مخوفة قد كفاني، وبهجة مونقة قد أراني. فأثني عليه حامدا، وأذكره مسبحا. الحمد لله الذي لا يهتك حجابه، ولا يغلق بابه، ولا يرد سائله، ولا يخيب آمله. الحمد لله الذي يؤمن الخائفين، وينجي الصالحين، ويرفع المستضعفين، ويضع المستكبرين، ويهلك ملوكا، ويستخلف آخرين. والحمد لله قاصم الجبارين، مبير الظالمين، مدرك الهاربين، نكال الظالمين، صريخ المستصرخين، موضع حاجات الطالبين، معتمد المؤمنين. الحمد لله الذي من خشيته ترعد السماء وسكانها، وترجف الأرض وعمارها، وتموج البحار ومن يسبح في غمراتها. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا، وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله الذي يخلق ولم يخلق، ويرزق ولا يرزق، ويطعم ولا يطعم، ويميت الأحياء ويحيي الموتى، وهو حي لا يموت، بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وأمينك وصفيك وحبيبك وخيرتك من خلقك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك، أفضل وأحسن وأجمل وأكمل وأزكى وأنمى. وأطيب وأطهر وأسنى وأكثر ما صليت وباركت وترحمت وتحننت وسلمت على أحد من عبادك وأنبيائك ورسلك وصفوتك وأهل الكرامة عليك من خلقك. اللهم وصل على علي أمير المؤمنين ووصي رسول رب العالمين، عبدك ووليك وأخي رسولك وحجتك على خلقك وآيتك الكبرى والنبأ العظيم. وصل على الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين. وصل على صبطي الرحمة وإمامي الهدى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي، حججك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم وصل على ولي أمرك القائم المؤمل والعدل المنتظر وحفه بملائكتك المقربين وأيده بروح القدس يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعله الداعي إلى كتابك والقائم بدينك، استخلفه في الأرض كما استخلفت الذين من قبله، مكن له دينه الذي ارتضيته له، أبدله من بعد خوفه أمنا، يعبدك لا يشرك بك شيئا. اللهم أعزه وأعزز به، وانصره وانتصر به، وانصره نصرا عزيزا، وافتح له فتحا يسيرا، واجعل له من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. اللهم أظهر به دينك وسنة نبيك حتى لا يستخفي بشيء من الحق مخافة أحد من الخلق. اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة تعز بها الإسلام وأهله، وتذل بها النفاق وأهله، وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والقادة إلى سبيلك، وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم ما عرفتنا من الحق فحملناه، وما قصرنا عنه فبلغناه. اللهم المم به شعثنا، واشعب به صدعنا، وارتق به فتقنا، وكثر به قلتنا، وأعزز به ذلتنا، وأغن به عائلنا، واقض به عن مغرمنا، واجبر به فقرنا، وسد به خلتنا، ويسر به عسرنا، وبيض به وجوهنا وفك به أسرنا وأنجح به طلبتنا وأنجز به مواعيدنا واستجب به دعوتنا وأعطنا به سؤلنا وبلغنا به من الدنيا والآخرة آمالنا وأعطنا به فوق رغبتنا يا خير المسؤولين وأوسع المعطين اشف به صدورنا وأذهب به غيظ قلوبنا واهدنا به لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنك إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم وانصرنا به على عدوك وعدونا إله الحق آمين اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا صلواتك عليه وآله وغيبة ولينا وكثرة عدونا وقلة عددنا وشدة الفتن بنا وتضاغر الزمان علينا فصل على محمد وآله وأعنا على ذلك بفتح منك تعجله وبضر تكشفه ونصر تعزه وسلطان حق تظهره ورحمة منك تجللنا وعافية منك تلبسنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين صل على محمد وآله الطاهرين.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Respected elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'd like to begin by thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the opportunity to spend some time and to celebrate the birth of Al-Imam Al-Hassan Al-Mujtaba salawatullahi alayh, the second Imam of Ahlul Bayt, whose auspicious birth falls on the 15th of the month of Ramadan. I'd like to extend my gratitude to the organizers for extending an invitation to me to give me the opportunity to address you on this blessed evening. I'd also like to congratulate all of you brothers and sisters on the opening of the new center in Albany, Masjid Azhar. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give all of you the tawfiq to serve the community and to propagate the message of the Ahlul Bayt to all of the truth seekers in your community. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you all the intercession of Fatima al-Zahra alayha salatu wassalam. Since we're celebrating the birth of Imam Al-Hassan alayhi salam, I thought it would be beneficial to share some advice that the Imam alayhi salam imparted to one of the companions of the Prophet. There's a beautiful wasiyah where the narration says, دخل جنادة ibn Abi Umayyah. There was a man by the name of Junada. And he was a companion of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Some of the companions of the Prophets were committed and they remained devoted to the family of the Prophet. And Junada seems to be one of those personalities who held Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam in very high esteem. And he visited the Imam alayhi salam when the Imam was ill, when he was on his deathbed after he was poisoned. So the narration says, دخل جنادة ابن أبي أمية على الإمام الحسن المجتبى عائدا له. He was visiting the Imam and the Imam's condition was worsening. فالتفت إليه الإمام قائلا فالتفت إلى الإمام قائلا عظني يا ابن رسول الله. When Junada saw that Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam, his condition was worsening, his health was deteriorating, he took advantage and he wanted to ask the Imam for a maw'idha. He says to the Imam, "Idhni, give me advice." Now, a maw'idha is different from a muhadara. Muhadara is a general lecture. And alhamdulillah, in most of our centers, we invite speakers and they give general lectures. However, when someone asks for a maw'idha, they ask for an advice, it's not a lecture. It's like asking for a prescription. It's more customized. So here, Junada is asking the Imam for a maw'idha, for some advice. The Imam knows him, and the Imam, salamullahi alayhi, he gives advice, he gives him instructions that are tailored to the needs of the advisee. And in this case, it is Junada. And of course, what the Imam alayhi salam shares. Now, of course, the Imam is ill and he's giving advice in his last days. And the Imam is essentially summarizing the most important pieces of advice for Junada. And I want all of us to put ourselves in the shoes of Junada. So the Imam alayhi salam, he says to him, and we don't have enough time. I was asked to speak for 15, 20 minutes. We don't have time to go through the entire wasiyah, but I'm sure you can find this wasiyah, the wasiyah of Imam al-Hasan to Junada. You can find it online. I'll just share with you some excerpts of this wasiyah. The Imam alayhi salam, he begins and he says, Ya Junada, O Junada, Ista'id li safarik. O Junada, be prepared for your journey. Brothers and sisters, we are all on a journey. Some of us, we think that this is our permanent home, that we're here to stay, and there's nothing beyond this world. Imam al-Mujtaba alayhi salam, he says, Ista'id li safarik. Number one, you have a journey. You are on a journey. Whether you like it or not, every human being is on a journey. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, he says, Ya ayyuhal insan, innaka kadihun ila rabbika kadhan famulaqi. O human being, O man, surely you are laboring, you are moving laboriously towards your Lord until you meet him. So this journey is a journey from dunya, which is the starting point, which is the lowest level of existence, and our journey is towards Allah. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Now think about, and the Imam doesn't only say that you're on a journey, Imam says be prepared for your journey. How much preparation do you need when you want to travel to another country? If you travel to another country, probably today you need to get a vaccine, you have to get some shots, you have to pack, a couple of suitcases, you have to bring your medication with you. There's a lot of planning and preparations that are made when you travel to another country. Now imagine traveling to another planet. Have you seen people who want to travel to the moon, or if they want to travel to another planet like Mars? Imagine how much preparation needs to take place to travel from one planet to another planet. Now, think about how much preparation we need when we want to travel and we want to go on a journey from dunya to akhirah. We're not talking about going to another country. We're not even talking about going to another planet. We're talking about going into another realm. Think about how much preparation we need, how much planning we need. So the Imam says, Ya Junada, ista'id li safarik. Prepare for your journey. You're on a journey. You have a destination. This is a long journey. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, he used to say, Amir al-Mu'mineen used to think about this journey. Min qillat az-zad wa bu'd as-safar. The Imam says he's worries about how long this journey is. It's a very long journey. And then Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam, he says, وَحَصِّلْ زَادَكَ قَبْلَ حُلُولِ أَجَلِكَ. Acquire your provisions before your death arrives. You have to prepare for this journey. There are some people very foolishly, they don't pray, they don't fast, they don't go to Hajj, and what's their master plan? Their master plan is, in my will, I'm going to ask my son to make up my qada. Your son, wait till he gets married and his wife controls his life and he forgets about you. He's not going to pray on your behalf. You're deluded. Maybe if you have a good son, maybe. There's a big maybe. You have to acquire your provisions before you die. And don't expect, it's not like, you land in the alam al-akhirah and you can kind of purchase some things here and there to help you get through the journey. No. The provisions need to be purchased here in dunya. Because if you go to that world and you have nothing, that's it. You're on your own. You're bankrupt. Have you ever traveled, brothers and sisters? Have you ever lost your luggage? One of the worst experiences if you travel is if you arrive, but your luggage doesn't arrive with you. And you're in a foreign country and you have nothing. You don't have clothes, and maybe even you don't have money. Everything has been lost. You lost your carry-on and your suitcases. Now imagine going to the akhirah. You're in alamul akhirah and you have nothing. You have no provisions. We have very limited time, brothers and sisters, to acquire the provisions that we need for that journey. And no one is going to prepare it for you. And no one is going to give you anything in barzakh. You can't ask, the person who's buried next to you, hey, by the way, can I borrow some hasanat from you? It doesn't work like that. وَحَصِّلْ زَادَكَ قَبْلَ حُلُولِ أَجْلِكَ. Now, in order for you to prepare for this journey, you have to know about where you're going. You have to understand what is going to benefit you on this journey. You have to know, if you're traveling, you need to know the country that you're visiting. Is it hot or is it cold? If it's hot, you probably don't need winter jackets. If it's cold, you probably need a scarf, you need a jacket, you need warm clothes. So you need to know what is going to benefit you. What do you need for this journey? And because we don't know, none of us have been to the akhirah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the knower of the unseen, Allah tells us how to prepare for this journey. And then the Imam alayhi salam, he says, وَعَلَمْ أَنَّكَ تَطْلُبُ الدُّنْيَا وَالْمَوْتُ يَطْلُبُكَ. Know, Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam, he says, know that you are seeking this world. You are seeking dunya, but you forget that there's something that's seeking you. You're chasing. It's like you're chasing someone, but there's someone behind you who's chasing you. وَعْلَمْ أنك تطلب الدنيا والموت يطلبك. Know that you are seeking this world while death is seeking you. You're running after dunya, but death is also chasing after you. So what the Imam is saying, and the Imam in the next line, he says, وَلَا تَحْمِلْ هَمَّ يَوْمِكَ الَّذِي لَمْ يَأْتِي عَلَى يَوْمِكَ الَّذِي أَنْتَ فِيهِ. Imam alayhi salam, he says, do not worry. Don't worry too much. Don't carry the burden and think too much about the days that have not yet arrived. And ignore the day that you are in now. Of course, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't think about the future, but there are certain things that are out of your hands. There are certain things that you can't change. There are some people, they're worried about, what's going to happen in 10 years or 20 years. And we don't even know what the world is going to look like. And they're not concerned about what's happening today. So Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam is teaching us here that we need to manage our concerns. Yes, the future is important and you should plan, but sometimes we think too much about things that are outside of the realm of our control, and we turn a blind eye to the things that we actually have control over. So the Imam says, don't think too much. Don't carry the burden and the stress about what's going to happen in the days that haven't even arrived yet. And you forego and you neglect the days that you are in now. We have to learn how to manage our concerns. وَاعْلَمْ أَنَّكَ لَا تَكْسِبْ مِنَ الْمَالِ شَيْئًا فَوْقَ قُوتِكَ إِلَّا كُنْتَ فِيهِ خَازِنًا لِغَيْرِكَ. The Imam says, know that whatever you acquire that is more than what you need, then know that you are simply saving it and storing it for others. People who are multi-billionaires, they're not really multi-billionaires because they need money for a shelter, for food. So what they need is very limited. And what is beyond their need, they're not touching it. And they're essentially saving it and storing it for others. So we have to remember, brothers and sisters, that sometimes we put so much effort acquiring money, and we think that it's for us, but in reality we're just holding it for others. We're holding it for others, and we spent all of this money and we didn't bother investing and preparing for our journey. وَاعْلَمْ أَنَّ الدُّنْيَا فِي حَلَالِهَا حِسَابٌ وَفِي حَرَامِهَا عِقَابٌ وَفِي الشُّبُهَاتِ عِتَابٌ. This is one of the most important lines of the wasiyah. I wish that we can hang this up and frame it in our homes. The Imam says, know that in this dunya, whatever is halal, so when it comes to dunya, every action, everything that you face in dunya is going to fall into three categories. It's either halal, it's either clearly halal, it's clearly and obviously permissible, and in that case, you're permitted to do it. Or it's haram, or it's clearly forbidden, obviously forbidden, and in that case, you need to refrain from it. Or if it is unclear, it's not clear whether it's halal or haram, it's a gray area, it's ambiguous. So the Imam says, وَاعْلَمْ أَنَّ الدُّنْيَا فِي حَلَالِهَا حِسَابٌ. When it comes to the halal enjoyments of dunya, Allah is still going to ask you about it. There's hisab, there's accounting. وَفِي حَرَامِهَا عِقَابٌ. And if you indulge in haram, there's punishment. وَفِي الشُّبُهَاتِ عِتَابٌ. And if you do something and you didn't know whether it's halal or haram, Allah's going to question you. He's going to blame you. Why did you take a risk with your religion? You wouldn't invest in a company that's maybe legit. You're going to be careful with your money because you value your money. Why is it when it comes to our deen, if it's unclear, we say, Allah, Allah, Bismillah, Bismillah. Why do we take a risk with our deen? If it's unclear, maybe we need to exercise caution. So haram, we need to avoid it. If there's a shubha, if it's unclear, if it's ambiguous, if it's a gray area, we need to be much more cautious when it comes to our deen. We shouldn't be willing to take risks. And even if it's halal, we need to enjoy halal with moderation. Just because something is halal, it doesn't mean that you need to do it. There is still questioning regarding halal. And this is one of the reasons why out of all the prophets, Nabi Sulaiman will be the last prophet to enter Jannah. Why? Because he enjoyed a lot of halal. And his hisab is longer than other prophets. So even the halal, there's hisab. When Amir al-Mu'mineen was on his deathbed and his daughter Kulthum, when she brought him food, the Imam alayhi salam, he's on his deathbed. This is before his shahada. She brings him a platter. There's barley bread, very coarse bread. There's water, and there's yogurt. The Imam alayhi salam, he looks at her and he says to her, "Aturidina an yutila wuqufi bayna yaday Allah azza wa jal?" Are you trying to prolong my standing before Allah? There was nothing haram on the tray. But Amir al-Mu'mineen is teaching us that we need to be moderate. Don't be excessive. Now, I'm not saying that we need to deprive ourselves, but we need to enjoy within moderation. We shouldn't be too extravagant and too excessive. Take what you need, enjoy the halal within reason, but don't be too excessive and extravagant. And then I'll just share maybe a couple of more. I'll skip to one more line where the Imam alayhi salam, he says, one final excerpt, he says, "Wa'mal," and this is a statement that we also find with Amir al-Mu'mineen. He says, "Wa'mal lidunyaka ka'annaka ta'ishu abada." Work for your dunya as if you're going to live forever. وَاعْمَلْ لِآخِرَتِكَ كَأَنَّكَ تَمُوتُ غَدًا. Many of us, we've heard this hadith. And work for your akhirah as if you're going to die tomorrow. But let me share with you a new perspective on what this means. وَاعْمَلْ لِدُنْيَاكَ كَأَنَّكَ تَعِيشُ أَبَدًا. Work for your dunya as if you're going to live forever. This means, one of the possible meanings is that pretend that dunya is always going to be there. And take your time, be patient. If you don't receive something from dunya, don't become too impatient. Work in this dunya as if you're going to be here forever. And if it doesn't come today, it's okay. It's not a big deal. So be laid back. Be more laid back about issues of dunya. Don't be too impatient. Work in this world as if you're going to live forever, as if it's not a big deal if it doesn't come today. Inshallah, it comes tomorrow. وَاعْمَلْ لِآخِرَتِكَ كَأَنَّكَ تَمُوتُ غَدًا. But work for your akhirah as if you're going to die tomorrow. So here the Imam is saying that live in this dunya as if you're going to live forever. And because you have the mindset that you're going to live forever, don't be too impatient. If you miss an opportunity, don't be too hard on yourself. It's okay. It's not a big deal if you miss out on a dunyawi opportunity. But when it comes to issues related to the akhirah and your deen, you need to have a sense of urgency. If there's an opportunity to do a good deed, jump on it, take advantage of it, and be disappointed if you miss it. But if there's an opportunity, for example, to buy a house in Albany and it was a good deal and you missed it, don't get too disappointed. Because with dunya, it's good to be patient. It's not a big deal. Because act as if you're going to live forever. But when it comes to your akhirah, you have to hasten. You have to work with a sense of urgency. Inshallah, I hope one day we have the opportunity to go through the entire wasiyah. But these are some gems of wisdom from Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam that we can take from him as we celebrate his birth. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to bless all of you and to give you the tawfiq to do what is pleasing to Him and to serve His deen in the best of ways. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين.